Welcome to Shout Out Loud for Jesus. On today's episode, we are talking about abusive relationships. So if anybody out there is in an abusive relationship, you need to listen up because we have Sister Valika Roundtree as a guest today, and she's going to tell us her story about being in an abusive relationship. How you doing today, Sister Valika Roundtree?
I'm doing fine, and you?
I'm doing good. So tell us your story. How long ago was it that you was in an abusive relationship?
Well, it been so many years ago. I was with this man way back in 1997,
Mhm.
and we, in the beginning, we had a great relationship. We spent a whole lot of time together. He was a good person. He loved my kids.
How many kids did you have at
At
the
that
time?
time, I had two,
Mhm.
and I ended up getting pregnant at the end of '97.
By this same guy?
Yes,
Okay.
but also he felt like that my baby wasn't his.
Why?
He was on drugs.
Oh, okay.
So he was telling me that he was that I was with another guy, but I wasn't at that time. I was working at night,
Mhm.
and I was getting home probably about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning,
Mhm.
and I worked every day. I never had a Sunday off, and
So back then, did you have a relationship with God? Did you and him, you and him and the kids ever go to church? Have a
no,
relationship with God back then?
no. Before I got with him, I
Mhm.
was going to church,
But once you got with
but when
him,
I got with him, I stopped going to church.
okay. How long into the relationship, or did you find out that he was on drugs? When did the abuse start?
The abuse didn't start until he couldn't get nothing, no crack. I didn't find out he was on crack until like 6 months into the relationship, and we end up.
So after 6 months being in a relationship,
Mhm.
did your mind like click saying, well, maybe I should leave him now? You know.
Yeah. At that time, yeah, it was around. We end up breaking up on Christmas,
Mhm.
and we stayed away from each other for a long time. He was calling me this and that,
Mhm.
calling me all out my name, everything. Every time he see me, he would calling me this, everything.
Mhm.
And he felt like I was cheating on him because I had so many friends
Mhm.
that I could trust and that was always there for me.
Mhm.
And most of my friends are guys.
Okay.
And he,
So when did y'all get back together after this breakup?
we ended up getting back together in 2002 after he got out of prison,
What did he go to prison for?
drugs,
Okay.
where he got clean.
Okay. So what made you take him back after he got out of prison? Because it was clean and.
Well, I was staying in the house with no lights, um, struggling trying to make sure my kids had what they needed.
So this time you was a single mother with three kids,
Yes.
including the last one was his by
Mm,
him, right?
yes.
Okay.
And we stayed there for a long time
Mhm.
until we got another house. And we didn't have to pay rent at that house because it was one of his family members' house.
Okay.
And we stayed in that house for a long time. And the kids, they was in school.
Mhm.
So at that time, my hours had changed and I was working in the morning. And he was so difficult with me. Mm,
Mhm.
he was so difficult with me that I couldn't do nothing. All he wanted me to do was go to work, get paid, bring my check home to him.
He wanted you to bring your check to
Yes,
him.
I had nothing.
So you did it.
He would take it from me. Right after I cashed that check,
Mhm.
he would take it from me.
So did the abuse start again after that?
The abuse was already going on.
So what breaking point? You know, what got to that point where the abuse got so bad? Like, and you was like, I can't take it no more. You know, this is it. I just can't take it no more. What breaking point? What happened to just drive you over the edge where that abuse just got so bad?
I lost my eyesight where he hit me, and I with a chair one night because we was fighting about a car that I paid for that came out of my tax money.
Hmm. So you end up losing your eyesight.
I end up losing my eyesight.
So that's why you can't see out of one of your.
He also started bringing it closer to home, you know. Yeah, I guess he thought I was stupid, but I ain't. A woman ain't stupid. They know what's going on.
That's true.
A woman know what's going on. He started bringing these crackheads in the house, and my kids were telling me, Mama, he having sex with these crackheads.
He was having sex with them in your house?
Yeah. So, I mean, a woman ain't stupid. She know what's going on.
So how did you find the strength to just say how did you get out of it?
This last time where I was at work and my oldest son called me and said, Mama, the police at the house. Derek going to jail. And when I got to the house, they had him in handcuffs. They had DHR at my house, get ready to take my kids away from me. And that woman looked at me and she told me, if you get back with this man, we're gonna take your kids.
That was your breaking point. So you got to keep your kids,
I
right?
kept my kids.
And you never got back with them, right?
Nope.
So what would be your advice to other women out there? You got women out there, even young women, young girls, they think they're so in love, but are being abused. So what's your advice, some advice, to them about being in an abuse relationship? Because you have been through it, and, by the power of God, you have come out of it.
Right.
So what's your advice to them? Tell me your advice.
These young women these days, they feel like if a man is always being on them, it's love. It's not love. They feel like just because he's having their hair fixed, getting their nails done, and all at the same time, he's beating on them. And people don't even know what that person going through. You lose weight. You lose sight of your own life. And if you have kids, you need to get away from it because you can lose your kids. You can lose your life because out of it, when you get tired, one of y'all going to prison or one of y'all going to hell. That's all to it. You gotta think about your life, think about your kids' life, and let that man or that woman go. Because women beat on men too. Y'all gotta think about it. Live your life. Put God in your life first. And get rid of that man or that woman because you don't need it. You don't need it. It's not worth it.
So I noticed that you said before you didn't have a relationship with God, but now you seem happy and healthy. So how's your relationship with God now?
I go to church. I try to go to church every Sunday.
Praise God.
I'm a member of the Church of Christ.
You and your kids?
Yes, we all members of the Church of Christ. And if you listen to this and you're not in church, I advise you to get into a church. If it's not the Church of Christ, get into a church.
That's true. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us, and I hope that her story took somebody's heart out there. If you are in an abuse relationship, just like she said, get out of it. Pray, trust God. Let God be the head of your household. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. That concludes today's episode of Shout Out Loud for Jesus, and you all have a blessed day.